How. Read for you by Victor Garber. Editor's note. It was summer, and I was getting ready for a 3-day weekend at the shore. Looking around my office for something to read, I picked up a manuscript that had come in earlier that week from one of my authors, Pickling for Profit and Pleasure. It was clear a title change would be in order, but that aside, it just didn't strike me as beach material. I debated between 2 other manuscripts, a book by a country veterinarian called Just a Little Horse and What to Do About It, and a 700-page first novel entitled Our Life. Thoroughly discouraged, I told myself I'd pick up a couple of Agatha Christie mysteries at the train station. But then there came scratching at the door, and my weekend reading dilemma was solved. For there, on the other side, stood my old friend and valued author, Harold X, an enticing manila envelope gripped between his teeth. Gently, he laid it into my hands, and before I could so much as ask if he'd join me for a bowl of cappuccino at the trendy little cafe that had just opened across the street, he was gone. With eager anticipation, I opened the envelope and read the letter clipped to his manuscript. My dear editor and friend, enclosed, please find my latest effort. As in the past, it is based on real events from my life and the lives of my family, the Monroes, and my friends, Chester and Howard. Benicula was staying with a neighbor at the time these particular episodes occurred. He was fortunate to have been elsewhere, for this was a terrifying adventure indeed. As an old and tired dog, I could well do without such adventures. But as an author, how can I be anything but thankful for them? After all, I doubt your readers would be terribly interested in a mystery called Why Is My Food Dish Empty? And so, here is the story of my fateful return to the place Chester once dubbed Holiday Inn. As always, I look forward to your response to my work, and I hope its eventual publication. Yours sincerely, Harold X. I tucked Harold's manuscript between the sunblock and bug spray in my tote bag. I was ready for my weekend, or so I thought. If only I'd packed a nightlight. Return to Holiday Inn. Chapter 1. The Omen. It was the 3rd straight day of rain. The 3rd day of listening to Mr. Monroe whistle the score of The Phantom of the Opera through his teeth, while indexing his collection of meatless soup recipes. The 3rd day of Mrs. Monroe's saying increasingly less cheerfully, Channel 6 says it's going to clear by morning. The 3rd day of Pete whining about what a rotten summer it had been, and Toby asking, when was it going to stop, because how could he try his new skateboard? And were they going to go on vacation even if it kept raining? And why couldn't they ever rent the movies he wanted at the video store? Not that the Monroes were the only ones getting, shall we say, edgy. No, even we pets. We who ordinarily exemplify a calm acceptance of fate to which humans can merely aspire, even we were losing it. My first inkling of this came when I found Howie racing around the basement on his little dachshund legs, going, vroom, vroom. Howie, what are you doing? I asked. It's the challenge of the career, Uncle Harold. Howie panted excitedly. I'm chasing hubcaps at the Indianapolis 500. I would have had a little reality chat with Howie then and there if I hadn't caught myself that very morning gazing into the mirror on the road across the door and wondering if the time hadn't come for me to try something different with my hair. Usually the promise of us all had taken to hopping around the cave as if the floor were covered with hot tar, and twitching his nose so rapidly you would have thought he'd suffer from whisker burnout. Surprisingly, only Chester seemed unaffected by the elements. Or perhaps I should say that if he was affected, it was not in the way one would have anticipated. As the rest of us grew more irritable, Chester mellowed. "How do you do it?" I moaned on the third night, as the rain continued to pelt the windows, and I tried in vain to find an acceptable spot for settling down.